Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, what's up? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and do not forget to hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I post new videos every week. So today we're talking about what causes nail lifting. So I'm sure, none of us are perfect. We have those moments where our clients experience lifting with their nail enhancements. So whether you are a new tech, advanced tech, whatever type of nail tech, we have these issues. And sometimes with certain clients, this happens all the time, and we're like, what is going on? So what causes nail lifting? So when lifting happens, it can always be traced back to a few things that you did. So I'm going to tell you what the number one cause of nail lifting is, and we're going to go over some of the things that you can do to avoid nail lifting in your clients. But first, let's go over what causes lifting nails and the ways that you can avoid this happening to your clients right now. So one of the reasons nail lifting happens, starts and begins with you. It is improper nail prep. So improper nail prep can cause nails to separate from the natural nails as your client wears them and use them throughout the weeks. So the first thing that we can do to avoid this is prepping the nails properly. This means removing any old separating product from the nails and cleaning around the cuticle well. We push back the epinicium. We're going to use a cuticle bit or a nipper if need be to remove any of the cuticle, because this is super important, guys, because if someone is someone that has cuticle underneath that nail growth, then that is automatically going to start to cause lifting, or sometimes that could be the cause. I know for myself, actually, I think from years of doing my right hand and overfiling maybe a little bit, my cuticles get really, really thick on this hand. So actually sometimes I'll have to go underneath the enhancement with my nipper and get my cuticle out. It doesn't really cause lifting, but just to show you that cuticles can be very thick. They could go very high, tall, long, whatever you want to call it, however you're looking at the nail. And that can actually affect the way the nails are growing out. So we want to make sure that we are removing all that old product, cleaning up that cuticle area especially well. Another thing is to make sure that you are working on a clean and a dry surface. We want to remove any debris. It's very important that after you're done with all your prep and your filing and your buffing, that we wipe that nail thoroughly. You can be a little aggressive using swipe, using acetone. Unfortunately, alcohol, it could work. I would personally recommend acetone, because acetone is going to get rid of that debris and it's going to totally dry out that enhancement and that new growth area. So we know, and again, swipe, it does have like part alcohol, part a little bit of acetone in it. So it needs a little bit of that acetone. The acetone is going to dry it out and make sure that everything is clean. You also want to make sure, again, that you're being so thorough that you're actually going more in a circular motion and you're kind of going into that cuticle area. You want to make sure that you're pushing the actual epinicium, pushing all the skin, get the surrounding areas. Make sure you are wiping that nail thoroughly with your acetone or your swipe before you even begin to put any type of dehydrator or primer or anything on it. Because depending on your speed, sometimes natural oils could surface. Sometimes in filing, maybe you miss something. So we want to make sure we're pushing back and getting that surrounding skin because of our clients' natural oils on their nails and any type of moisture that could have been left and hidden. We want to make sure we clean, dry surface. The second thing you want to look for is your dehydrating and priming procedure. You want to make sure and take a look at how you are dehydrating the nail and priming the nail. So once we prep the nail for a fill-in or for a full set or anything, we want to make sure we're using a dehydrator. Most people are using a dehydrator. We want to make sure we're using it well. So a dehydrator is basically going to temporarily remove any traces of moisture and oils from the nail plate. So it's super important. It's an added step. So if I'm using acetone to wipe that nail, then I'm going in with dehydrated, that nail is being sucked dry. We want it dry and clean. That is gonna be ideal for the best type of adhesion for your nail enhancement. And another thing is when you are using primer, whatever primer you're using, some people love Valentino, some people love Young Nails. It doesn't matter, to be honest, what type of primer you're using. If it works for you, stick with it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But we want to make sure that we're using primer sparingly. A lot of times, and then the second actual cause of lifting is actually too much primer. So what happens is when we're putting primer on the nail, if you are just globbing it all over the nail plate, it's going to actually run back into the sidewalls and into the cuticle area, and it's going to just kind of flood it. So when I go in and lay that enhancement on, it's flooded with primer. So what happened was we didn't get that good adhesion that we thought we did. So actually over priming the nail is a thing, and that can actually backfire against you and cause lifting. So we wanna make sure that we are using it sparingly. I know Young Nails, for example, they tell you to do 2 coats of primer, which I'm not gonna get into it now, that's a marketing technique. But you can use 2 coats of primer if you want to. I don't 2-coat prime people I don't use 2 coats of primer in the same area. So the first time I prime, I'll go up and down very sparingly, and the second time I just do a little sweep around the cuticle area. I don't prime the whole entire nail twice because it doesn't really need that. And again, if you are doing too much, then it's going to affect your nails, and that is going to cause lifting. Another tip that I have for you is, and a lot of my students don't know this until they come to school, that did you know that after 30 minutes, a person's natural oils and moisture will come back on the nail plate? So a tip is, if you are a tech that works slow, so ask yourself, how long does it take you to do your application? So from dehydrating and priming to placing the enhancement or the product on, how long does that take you per hand? If it takes you about 30 minutes or more than 30 minutes, then you should actually be dehydrating and priming one hand at a time. So this will actually help with your applications and that nail and that enhancement adhering to the nail plate better. If you are a slower tech, you want to do one hand at a time, because the thing is, their oils are going to start to come back, and that's going to interfere with all that prep we did, all that dehydrating we did. It's going to be pointless because now she has moistures and oils coming back to the nail plate, and that's going to cause lifting. The third thing that we want to look out for is proper nail structures. So nails should not only obviously look good, but they should be built structurally to last for our client. So the first thing we want to look for is your apex and your arch. What is this? The apex is the area in the nail with the most strength. It is located in the center of your nail, and it's a little bit kind of halfway through your free edge and more in the center of your nail. So we've spoken about this. I'm trying to find a good one that has a good little arch for me. See, my nails are short, so when they're short, but you see how my nail has like a little bit of a bump to it? You want to make sure you have your nail structurally built, because guess what? If she bangs her finger, that nail's gonna pop right off. I know right now it's very trending to do these like extendo square flat nails, but they're not really built structurally unless you have a nice sharp C curve, which is another thing. Your C curve is that arch when you look at your nail like this and you have a nice arch. That will actually help. So if you are doing long square nails, you should have a badass C curve, because that's gonna be a little bit of support and structure for your nail. They shouldn't just come out flat. They can't have no apex and no C curve. So we wanna make sure that we are structurally building our nails to support our clients as they are wearing them, because that's also gonna cause lifting. Because guess what? Before they break, she's gonna keep hitting her finger. That's gonna cause lifting here, and then it's gonna break right in that stress area. So again, also if you are somebody that's doing very thin nails and you say, well, I don't really like that bump, I don't really like it, it makes the nails look thick. The whole nail does not have to be thick. By the cuticle and on your free edge can actually be like paper thin if your nail is structurally built correctly. And the number one reason why nails lift is, drum roll please, over filing. Are you surprised? Something so simple, right? You're like, oh, I thought it was gonna be like this or that. No, over filing the natural nail would lead to damaged nail plates, a nail bed, and that's one thing as a nail tech that can potentially harm a client, not just short term, but long term. So some things that we wanna look for when we're filing is, one, using the wrong file. You should be using a 240 grit on anyone's natural nail. Even a 180 can be too aggressive if somebody has thin to weak nails. 240 is your safe zone. Using these 100 or 80 grit on a natural nail, even if you are just filing it, even if they don't have any nails, I'm just prepping it a little bit to put on a tip or something, get a 240 grit file for anything that is touching that natural nail. We want to make sure that we have a nice, strong foundation. And every time you, with an aggressive file, you are damaging the nail plate, which is seeping down to the nail bed, which is messing with their matrix, which is gonna cause some type of nail disorder or disease. So it's going to be something that you're gonna see over time. This is when people say, I've been wearing acrylics for so long and now my nails are damaged, because it happened over and over and over and over again. You won't see this in 1 time, 2 times of doing something, but over time, you're gonna end up seeing the weakened nail plate, and the foundation is gonna be destroyed. And another thing is, and I've said this before, I swear to God, I said this before, I don't care what you see on TikTok and Instagram, you should not be using a sanding band drill bit on anyone's natural nails. These are the most damaging type of bits that you can be using. You should be using something as soft as a 240. Even a fine grit sanding band is too much for someone's natural nails. You should be using cuticle safety bits, the round cuticle bit. That's about it. And a 240 file. On natural nails, that's all you need. Anything else in that is too much. Again, something that you won't see now, but you're gonna see in 6 months, 6 to 8 months from now, because this is when symptoms start to show in our clients. So we wanna make sure that we are not ever using a sanding band on a client. These are very rough on the nails. They cause holes into the nail plate. If you take a microscope and zoom in, all these overfiling can cause so much damage to the nail plate. So sanding bands, they cause heat spikes, they have long-term effects, and so much more. And it's just very painful for the client. And again, it's not giving us a very strong natural nail, which is giving us a very weak foundation. And another thing is, we want to stop being so aggressive with our filing. If we are doing the right things the whole time, again, all going back to nail prep. If we are prepping the nail, pushing back the eponychium, getting rid of the cuticle, I don't need to rough up that nail and be so with the wrong file and everything. It's just too aggressive. So you want to watch how much you're actually filing that natural nail. It should be, I literally use the file to just do the edges. I don't need to touch the top because I have a product going on top. So I don't really need to file it. Once I have my little cuticle bit and I go around and I maybe on the surface of the nail, that's it. I don't need to go back on top of that, on top of her nail with another file, even a 240, and file it again. It's too much. So we want to watch how much we're filing that natural nail, because again, that can actually cause some separation of the nail plate from the nail bed and give your client a disease. And now next thing you know, she has one of many nail disorders or diseases long-term because of aggressive filing. And we always want to remember that our natural nails are the foundation for any product. So again, if your clients have very weak, thin, brittle nails, this is going to actually cause lifting and cause some breaking. We want our clients to have strong, beautiful, healthy nails, because that's one, gonna make our work look good, and two, that's gonna make her nails last so much longer. So as a tech, as a professional, as someone that is hopefully licensed, you want to share this information. A lot of times clients, they've been done wrong so many times that they don't actually know what right is. Don't ever let a client tell you, shouldn't you be doing this? Shouldn't you be doing that? If you know the right steps and the right protocol on how to take care of a nail, they're putting their trust into you. So you have to guide them. You have to give them the sense of, this is what we're gonna do to get your nails nice and strong, and then we can actually do these long nails that you want. Don't put long nails on someone that has no nail, because what's gonna happen? She doesn't have the proper foundation to hold those nails, so they're gonna break. Then she's gonna come back and get that nail fixed, and guess what's gonna happen? It's gonna break again. And now her nail plate is separated from her nail bed, and she's wondering why. It's because you didn't say to her, as a professional, I don't think you need to go this long. Your natural nail is very thin, it's very short, it's not gonna hold it, we need to go a little bit shorter. If she can't understand that you are looking out for her, and she can't accept that, you can walk yourself right on over to a local beauty shop and let them mess you up and let them be liable for it. It's not worth it in the long term, because again, I always say to you guys, something goes wrong, it's immediately your fault. It's not their fault. So we want to guide our customers and teach them how to have natural, healthy beauty nails so their nails don't lift and they don't break and they last a long time. If you guys have any other questions about nail lifting or anything, leave me a comment below. Do not forget to hit the like button on this video. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.